Years passed, not in dramatic leaps, but in quiet steps. Ada grew into a young woman shaped by hardship, but softened by kindness. Living with Mama BC taught her something she had never truly known: what a home feels like when love lives inside it. The small apartment above the food stalls smelled of pepper soup and fried plantain, of laughter and worn furniture that had absorbed years of stories. Mama BC never raised her voice unless it was to call Ada to eat. "Food is not punishment," she would say. "Food is comfort." Ada finished secondary school with excellent grades. Teachers noticed her dedication and encouraged her to pursue teaching. With Mama BC's support, and many long nights of studying under a flickering bulb, she gained admission to college. College was terrifying at first. Ada had lived so long in survival mode that joy felt unfamiliar. But she worked harder than anyone else, determined to build a life that no one could take away. She also volunteered at shelters, drawn to children who carried the same haunted look she once had. "You're safe here," she would whisper to them, repeating the words Mama BC had once said to her. Slowly, Ada stopped flinching at loud voices. She learned to laugh freely. She learned that love does not have to hurt. By 24, she had become Miss Ada, a teacher known for patience, warmth, and fierce protection of her students. People often said, "You must have had a wonderful childhood to be this kind." Ada would smile gently and change the subject. Some wounds don't need to be displayed to prove they exist. One afternoon, after school, Ada stayed late organizing books. Rain tapped gently against the windows, a sound that once meant fear, but now felt peaceful. Until the door creaked open. She looked up. Her breath caught. Standing in the doorway was Madame Ijeoma. But this was not the imposing woman Ada remembered. Her elegant posture had collapsed into frailty. Her clothes were neat but old. Her once perfect hair was streaked with grey. And her eyes, those sharp, cold eyes, now held something unfamiliar. Desperation. "Ada," she said softly. The name sounded strange on her lips, as if she had not used it in years. Ada's hands trembled, memories flooding back. Hunger, slaps, loneliness, nights of silent crying. For a moment, the classroom seemed to shrink around her. "I heard you became a teacher," Ijeoma continued. You look well." Silence stretched between them, heavy with everything unsaid. Finally, Ijeoma spoke again. "I need your help." They sat across from each other like strangers bound by history. Ijeoma's voice shook. "After you left, everything changed. Her business failed. Friends disappeared. Relatives stopped visiting. The large house felt like a tomb. Without someone to control, her anger turned inward, eating away at her peace. "I thought power meant being feared," she admitted. "But fear leaves you alone." She swallowed hard. "I was cruel to you. There is no excuse." Ada listened, heart pounding. Part of her wanted to scream, to demand answers for every tear she had shed. Another part wanted to run. Instead, she asked quietly, "Why?" Ijeoma stared at her hands. "You reminded me of your mother. She was everything I could never be. Gentle, loved, admired. I was jealous. And jealousy, it poisons the heart." The confession hung in the air like a fragile bridge between past and present. "For years," Ijeoma whispered, "I hoped you had survived. I did not deserve forgiveness, but I hoped you were alive. Forgiveness is not a switch. It is a mountain." Ada stood and walked to the window. Children were playing in the rain outside, laughing without fear. She watched them for a long time. "I cannot pretend nothing happened," she said finally. Ijeoma nodded slowly. "I don't expect that." Ada turned back. "But I also refuse to carry hatred for the rest of my life." She remembered Mama Bissie's words. Kindness is strongest when it costs something. I will help you, Ada said. Not because you deserve it, but because I refuse to become like you were. Ijeoma broke down completely, sobbing with relief and shame. For the first time, Ada felt something unexpected. Not anger. Freedom. Ada arranged for Ijeoma to stay in a modest assisted living home near the school. She visited occasionally, not out of obligation, but out of quiet humanity. Their relationship never became mother and daughter. Some bonds cannot be rebuilt in the same shape, but something new formed. Respect. One afternoon, Ijeoma watched Ada teaching children in the courtyard, laughing, encouraging, kneeling to their level. She became everything I tried to destroy, Ijeoma whispered to a nurse. And she did it without hate. When Mama Bisi later passed peacefully, Ada inherited not wealth but something far greater, a legacy of compassion. She expanded the food stall into a community center for vulnerable children, ensuring no child would feel as alone as she once did. Sometimes at sunset, she stood outside watching the children play, the golden light wrapping around them like a promise. Her past no longer defined her. It refined her. And the wickedness meant to break her had instead built a woman strong enough to heal others. Cruelty can shape a life, but it does not have to define it. Sometimes the most powerful revenge is not revenge at all. It is becoming the person who chooses kindness when hatred would be easier.